If you thought the Epstein story was fading away, think again. Because what resurfaced this week has launched one of the most bizarre, chaotic, and revealing internet storms in years. Newly released Epstein emails, thousands of them are raising fresh questions about political power, media manipulation, elite connections, and a cryptic phrase that has sent the internet into a frenzy. Trump blowing Bubba. Who is Bubba? Why was Steve Bannon mentioned? Why did Putin's name suddenly appear in the same sentence? And why are politicians scrambling to distance themselves from these emails while the public is demanding the full Epstein files? Today, we dive deep into the truth, not the jokes, not the memes, not the speculation, but the real context, the real impact, and the real consequences behind these viral revelations. Everything exploded when an email exchange between Jeffrey Epstein and his brother Mark resurfaced. A simple one-line message turned into global chaos. Ask Bannon if Putin has the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. To the average person, it sounds insane. To comedians, it was the joke of the decade. But to researchers, journalists, and political analysts, it raised real questions. Why were these names together? Why this combination, Bannon, Putin, Trump, Bubba? And why did this appear in thousands of pages of Epstein's personal emails? The reaction was immediate. Some were shocked, some confused, and some amused. But everyone wanted answers. The internet's first assumption, Bubba equals Bill Clinton. It made sense in the moment. Bubba has been a nickname for Bill Clinton for decades. But then something surprising happened. Mark Epstein issued a statement saying, Bubba is not Bill Clinton. He said the email was a joke between brothers, never meant to be taken literally, never meant for public release, and never meant to imply anything about Clinton. So if Bubba isn't Bill Clinton, who is it? A friend? An inside joke? A code name? Or simply the kind of crude humor two brothers share privately? We still don't know, and that mystery is exactly why the email went viral. Different media outlets handled the story in completely different ways. Comedy shows turned it into satire, using humor to highlight political hypocrisy. Fact checkers focused on clarifying details, especially the viral Trump-Clinton photo. Right-wing outlets barely covered the emails at all. Left-leaning media emphasized the need to release all Epstein files. Independent researchers dug deeper into elite networks and the meaning behind the emails. But one thing stood out. No one denied the emails were real. No one denied they were part of Epstein's digital archive. And almost no one could explain the context behind them. It raised the question, what else is in those thousands of emails that we still haven't seen? Around the same time, an old photo from the year 2000 resurfaced, Donald Trump and Bill Clinton standing together at the US Open. People on TikTok and Reddit began claiming Trump was groping Clinton, but the photographer William Baster, a White House photographer, confirmed it was not inappropriate. Trump was motioning to people to gather for a group photo. It was a mid-gesture frame, captured at the wrong moment. So why did the photo blow up? Because people were combining it with the Epstein email, and because any image of Trump plus Clinton plus Epstein triggers instant speculation. This moment shows how quickly rumor, meme, viral, fake narrative can happen on social media. The question is not, is this email proof of a crime? The real question is, why were thousands of emails hidden for so long? Epstein was connected to billionaires, scientists, politicians, former presidents, authors, academics, world leaders, intelligence figures, celebrities. And some of these emails happened after Epstein's previous conviction. The public is asking, why were these conversations happening at all? And that's exactly why the pressure to release all Epstein files is growing. For years, Trump rejected efforts to release the Epstein files. Then, suddenly, after the House Oversight Committee gained enough votes, he changed his stance. House Republicans should vote to release the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. But critics pointed out one key fact. If Trump had truly wanted the files released, he could have declassified them himself during his presidency. He didn't. Why? Was it political strategy, a legal concern, a desire to avoid backlash, or simply something he didn't prioritize? His sudden shift raised more questions than answers. The real significance of the viral email isn't the phrase itself, it's what it represents. A glimpse into the private conversations Epstein kept, major political names being casually referenced, the intertwining of global figures like Putin and Bannon, the bizarre mix of humor and secrecy, a reminder of how close Epstein remained to elite circles. Even if the email is a joke, it shows how comfortable Epstein felt using names of powerful people in private exchanges. That alone is revealing. One of the biggest ironies is how people reacted depending on which political side they're on. In 2016, many figures in MAGA world embraced the Pizzagate conspiracy, developing elaborate theories from simple, harmless emails. But now, when the Epstein emails contain explicit, disturbing content, those same voices suddenly say, context is important. These emails don't mean anything. Don't jump to conclusions. Everything is taken out of context. The double standard is impossible to ignore. The same people who saw clues in pizza orders now struggle to interpret emails that mention Russian models, private islands, favors, scouts connected to Trump, trafficking-like language, and more. Another unexpected twist is the revelation that Ghislaine Maxwell is receiving unusually privileged treatment in prison. Privacy, special meals, special visits, warden assistance, unlimited toilet paper, private email support. This raises a major question. Why is a convicted sex trafficker receiving VIP handling? Is she being protected? Is she cooperating secretly? Or is the system simply afraid of what she knows? Her situation adds more pressure to release the full Epstein files. Across political lines, people are nervous. Democrats point at Republicans. Republicans point at Democrats. Billionaires point at media lies. Media points at intelligence agencies. Fact-checkers try to calm the chaos. Conspiracy theorists light up the internet. But in reality, almost every elite circle had some connection to Epstein. That's why nobody truly wants the full files released. Most political scandals disappear after weeks. This one refuses to die for over 20 years because Epstein wasn't acting alone. He had connections everywhere. He was protected for decades. Too many powerful people interacted with him. Too many questions remain unanswered. Too many documents are still hidden. The public knows there is more. Every leak leads to more leaks. Every email raises more questions. Every revelation makes people ask, what are they still hiding? So here's the real truth. The Epstein emails are not shocking because of what they reveal. They're shocking because of what they don't reveal yet. And until the full files are released, the world will keep asking, who else is in those documents? And why are they so afraid of us finding out? And honestly, when you ask that question, you start realizing something uncomfortable. It's not just presidents, it's not just billionaires, it's not just one political side. What these files suggest is that there's an entire ecosystem of influence built around people who believed they were untouchable. People who operated under this assumption that the rules didn't apply to them because for a long time they didn't. And that's kind of the shocking part. When you look at the names appearing in these leaked communications, academics, world leaders, CEOs, media executives, it becomes clear that Epstein wasn't just a criminal, he was a connector, a node in a network that spanned finance, politics, entertainment, and even intelligence. And what's fascinating and disturbing is how normal it all seemed to them. Like, these weren't secret spy-style cables written in code. These were casual messages, plans, introductions, inside jokes, and then occasionally something darker, something that hints at exploitation hidden beneath luxury and power. And that's when you realize This wasn't one man's operation. This was a system, and when a system feels threatened, it does whatever it can to protect itself. You can see it in the reactions, sudden silence from people who once bragged about their elite connections, media outlets choosing which names to highlight and which to quietly ignore, political operatives shifting blame instead of demanding truth, and institutions trying to distance themselves from decisions made long ago. It's not random, it's predictable, because truth is dangerous not to the public, but to the powerful. And this is where it gets even more shocking. Some of the individuals mentioned in these contacts were meeting Epstein after his conviction, not before, after, meaning they already knew who he was, and they still met him. Think about that. In normal life, if someone is convicted of a serious crime, people distance themselves instantly. But here we see the opposite. More meetings, more emails, more dinners, more private flights. Why? Well, the obvious explanation is influence. People don't risk their reputations for no reason. They do it because someone has something they want. Leverage is the most powerful currency on earth, even more powerful than money, because leverage doesn't expire. It doesn't devalue. It doesn't get taxed. It controls. And Epstein somehow had leverage that spanned continents. But here's something most people don't realize. A lot of extremely powerful individuals weren't afraid of Epstein. They were afraid of what Epstein kept, his documents, his notes, his recordings, his email chains, his private conversations. That's why the files matter, not because of speculation, but because Epstein documented everything. He didn't rely on memory. He stored information, organized it, archived it. You don't archive things unless you plan to use them. And if one person with that level of leverage dies suddenly, the leverage doesn't die with him. It transfers. And the question is, to who? Who has that information now? Who controls it? Who decides what gets released? And what never sees daylight? Because that's the real power. The shocking part isn't that these things happened. The shocking part is that they were allowed to happen for decades across multiple governments, multiple agencies, multiple administrations, and multiple countries without anyone stepping in aggressively enough to stop it. And the most unsettling possibility is this. Maybe nobody stepped in because too many people were involved. And that's why the release of these files is such a threat. Because if the wrong or right names appear, the entire illusion of moral authority in politics, media, and global leadership could collapse overnight. That's why you're seeing panic. That's why you're seeing spin. That's why you're seeing people who never agree on anything suddenly agreeing that the files should stay sealed for national security. Whenever powerful people suddenly unite on something, you should pay attention, because unity at the bottom is hope, unity at the top is fear, and there is a lot of fear right now